There's the TV tower at night. It's a very nice night. It's 13th of May. Pity I don't have a telephone number of my old mate Nigel from school, as it was always his birthday. Happy birthday, Nigel, if you're watching. He would be 50. He would be 50 as well this month. If you, well, he will be. He's still alive, I assume. So there's this beautiful church on this side. That side we've got a full moon, as you can see, hopefully. And there's this almost sitting on a cloud there, sort of low cirrus. Over here we've got this Sheremetyevo's palace being reconstructed here, being refurbished to its former glory. That's all in scaffolding. These are all nicely pollarded bushes. I'm not entirely sure what bush it is, but it's, I should be able to tell it from that, but in fact it's skipped my mind. But this is me. I don't know if you can see me, I'm not sure. But this is me back out on a walk. Second day in a run. Well, this is 7.8 tonight, and yesterday was 9. Decided on a new, more stringent set of regulations to keep to while the conditions are so good for walking. Although earlier on there was actually a downpour earlier in the day. I went into Burger King to escape it and made the mistake of eating there as well. So it's a very good reason to have a decent walk in the evening. When I came out I just thought, oh, why did I eat that? And I only had one thing. But I'm quite pleased with the facility that I seem to have for being able to just stroll along for things like 8 or 9 kilometres a day. The other day I did 22, which was a record for several years. So I have to build on that. My all-time record is 27 kilometres in a day, and I'd really like to break that this year. So during the time when it's my birthday and towards the end of the month and Sophie will be there, she's usually my walking companion. She seems to not get tired. It's quite remarkable how strong she is as a walker for a 14-year-old, so she'll be 14 on the 20th of May. I never could do that as a kid. I was flat-footed anyway, so that was a bit of a problem. Thankfully she didn't inherit that from me. I still am flat-footed, but it's a bit of an arch there now after all this walking, but it's still not a proper one. So that's one of the reasons I used to hate walking and did all I could to avoid it, with the obvious knock-on effect that you know, I got portly, especially after I finally bought a car instead of using a bicycle all over the place, which was at one time the case. It's one of these multiple street cleaning things. I've got to wait for the red man to turn into a green one. In the meantime, R2-D2 here has got to do his stuff. That was a Star Wars joke, not the registration plate. So there it is. Oh, this guy's waiting, but nothing's happening. Go on then. Oh, honestly, he's waiting. I finally try and go, and then he moves. I'm fed up with it. I'm just going to go on the edge. There's nobody around. Молодой человек. Okay. And we get the odd runner. I would like to run, but obviously it's not to be done until I'm under 100 kilograms, and that doesn't seem to, you know, change at the scales that much. Even if I get a larger facility and look thinner and what have you, the scales seem to say more or less the same thing. It seems to me impossible for me to get under 120 kilos. I'm happy to be under 130, and the hardest I've been is 140. But you can understand what people say about heavy bones, why people say, obviously one doesn't have really bones which are heavy. You could have a more compact set of bones because they have to carry more weight. That's certainly true. You can find the body will adjust the density of bones to deal with the stress that it's taking, which is why exercise is a good way of avoiding brittle bones. And a way to get thin and easily cracked bones is to do little exercise. But in the case of many fat people, you won't find that their bones are all that. Like in my case, after this walking, they may be, but it's more likely going to be the amount of muscle. There's not that much fat now on my legs that if I kick someone, they're kicked, as I think I've said before. So if I had to defend myself, I think I would use the fighting style of the cassowary. If possible, and just use the strength which is there, because obviously, you know, I'm not using my arms that much, especially as I've got these problems with the shoulders. So even the gym going that I used to do, I don't do it now. So I wouldn't want to be punching and what have you, because I don't think that I'd be punching as hard as the other guy usually. If he's a working guy, etc., using his hands all day long, he'll punch harder, but I'm not sure he'll kick harder. And he won't have the weight. So the key is to get in a few good old blows with the legs, and also and if he comes in close, then use the weight, I suppose, wrestle. I always used to do that at school, and that got me by quite well, wrestling people over, and then when their head was under my arm, I would move towards the corner of a table or something and offer to gouge part of their head out by the corner of the table unless they submitted, which they invariably did. So I didn't have to do the actual gouging itself. It was the prospect of being moved with their head under my arm towards a corner that they didn't like the look of, and they usually agreed that it was a fair win. And I tended to honour that, and they tended to honour that. Although one guy afterwards said that he would kick my head in when I didn't expect it, but he never did. So that's all right. I didn't really fancy getting my head kicked in, but I didn't really think that he was anywhere near going to do it, because if he was going to do it, he had the chance during the time we were actually fighting. And somehow it didn't happen then, so it wasn't going to happen. His name was Alfie, actually, so you may well say, what was that all about? There's the old block. I'm going to go to a shop and get some vegetables, I think.